In the last lecture, we have discussed current mirror circuit, and in the current mirror circuit, we have seen some basic current mirror circuits, their relationship of the currents between input and output currents, and we have come to the conclusion that output current is equal to the reference current for the ideal current mirror circuit, and in the practically it would be depend upon the aspect ratio, means W by L ratio of both the transistor that is used to construct that current mirror circuit. Now today we would be extend the discussion of current mirror. So today we are going to discuss the topic DC analysis of MOSFET active load circuit. So everyone would be ready with your pen and notebook, draw the diagram and note down the equations. So if you have to be see the MOSFET active load circuit here in the figure 2.19, we have taken a simple MOSFET amplifier with active load, and here the active load is nothing but a current mirror circuit. So if you have to be see in this case, this is M0. M0 is your basic transistor here, that is you can say a driver in this case, and input voltage is applied to the gate of the M0. Its source is grounded and the drain terminal is connected to the load, and also from the drain terminal of this M0 we have derived the output V0. The current flowing across the drain to source terminal of this M0 is ID, and here it is defined as the I0, that is the output current, and the output voltage is also similar as the drain to source voltage of M0. Now come to the load part. If you have to be see here, as an active load we have used a current mirror circuit that is made up from the 2 PMOS transistor. So in this 2 PMOS transistor, M1 and M2 we have taken for this current mirror circuit. If you have to be see, this is the I reference as an input current of M1, and that would be mirrored and induced on the M2, and it would be reflected as the I2. And I2 and I reference are nearly similar here as per the phenomena of the current mirroring. And source of M1 and source of M2 both are connected to the supply voltage. Here it is taken as a V plus, and source to gate voltage is same for both the transistors because both gate has been be shorted to each other. And here VSD1, source to drain voltage for M1 transistor, that is same as the VSG. Why? Because gate of M1 is shorted with the drain of M1. But on the other side, the output of this particular current mirror load, that is VSD2, the voltage across source and drain terminal of the M2, it is nothing but V plus minus V0. And the current flowing across the drain terminal of M2 is I2, and that is the same current because both are in the series. I2 is you can consider as I0. Now we will be consider the voltage transfer function of V0 versus Vi for this circuit. So I hope all of you have drawn this circuitry, that is also I shown you in the last lecture. Now we have to discuss the voltage transfer characteristics of this. So first of all, the reference current may be written in the form of, one more thing, if you have to see the circuitry, here we would consider M0 is in the saturation region, as well as the load is also in the saturation region, M2 and M1. So after this assumption, if you have to see, the reference current I reference could be defined as Kp1, conductance parameter of M1, it is a PMOS transistor, into Vsg plus Vtp1 whole square into 1 plus lambda 1 Vsd1. That is equation number 1. Here you have to see that Vsg is not notified as a transistor because it is common for M1 and M2. But threshold voltage, lambda, source to drain voltage is identified by the transistor number because it is different for M1 and M2. In the similar fashion, we have to also define the I2 that is flowing across the M2, and we have also assumed it is biased in the saturation region. I2 is defined as same formula, Kp2 Vsg plus Vtp2 whole square into 1 plus lambda 2 Vsg2. This is the equation number 2. For sake of simplicity of these calculations, we have to assume that M1 and M2 both are identical. Generally, in the circuit based on the current mirror, we assume always M1 and M2 or whatever the transistor is involved in construction of the current mirror, both are identical to each other. If it is so, then lambda 1 and lambda 2 is also equal, and here it is a PMOS, so it would be considered as a common parameter lambda P. Vtp1 and Vtp2 is equal, and it would be designated as a Vtp. Kp1 is equal to Kp2 and is equal to Kp, because we have assuming that both transistors are identical in nature. And when you combine this 1 and 2 equation, you would find out that I reference would be nearly equal to the I2. And on the basis of this, we would define the output voltage V0, that is equal to 1 plus lambda P V plus minus Vsg upon lambda n plus lambda P minus Kn Vi minus Vtn whole square upon I reference lambda n plus lambda P. This is equation number 3. Now, in someone's mind, it would be arises that how this equation came. So the derivation of equation is beyond the scope of this syllabus, but I would give you the idea how to derive this equation and come to the final equation, equation number 3. So we have assumed that M1 and M2 are equal. So if both are equal means the reference current would be mirrored to the M2. So I2 would be equal to I reference. Okay. So you can put up this variable Kp1 up to this. It is equal to Kp2 up to this. So in this way, you can correlate the Vsd1 and Vsd2. Vsd2 is nothing but V plus minus V0. Vsd1 is nothing but Vsg. So when you do some mathematical equation, we have to write some mathematical equation. It is a little bit longer calculation, nearby 1 or 2 page. Then you have to become finally the equation of V0, that is defined here by the equation number 3. So now you have to directly note it down. If you have to be see equation number 3, it describes the V0 versus Vi relationship. So here you can see V0 is related to Vi. So obviously, when we have to establish a relationship between the output voltage and input voltage, so it would be result. I told you that. So there is a relationship would be established with the help of equation number 3 between V0 and Vi. And in this way, we would be able to draw the transfer characteristics, that is related the output voltage with the input voltage. So you can see in the figure 2.20, there is a output characteristics has been shown. In the y-axis there is a V0 and in the x-axis there is a Vi. And if you have to be see, this voltage transfer characteristics is similar as we have discussed in the CMOS inverter. So initially when the Vi is very less, so output would be maximum. When slowly you have to be, or gradually you have to be increasing the Vi, your output voltage would be tend to decrease, and there is some slope has been formed. And again the input voltage is increased once after some level, it would be output voltage would be minimum. So here, similar to the CMOS inverter, here the two transistor has been taken as a reference. First is a driver, that is M0, it is a NMOS transistor. Second is a load, that is a current mirror load, where we have to be taken as a M2 as a load device. And we know that in the voltage transfer characteristics, this is a particular region where the slope is formed. This is the particular region where both the transistor, driver and load, means M0 and M2 is biased in saturation region. Okay. So here M0 is cut off and M2 is non-saturation. Here both are in the saturation. Here again M0 is non-saturation, M2 is cut off, like this. But this is the reason where both transistor is in saturation. If we would be consider our transistor circuit is a small signal amplifier, then, and when it is possible to act as a small signal amplifier, when both M0 and M2 would be biased in the saturation region. So in this region, your M0 and M2 both are in saturation region, so it is acting as an amplifier. So obviously in the amplifier output characteristics we can draw or we can indicate a Q point. So here we would be establish a Q point, and in this particular Q point, so this is the boundary of this saturation region from this point to this point. In middle of this particular region, we have to be establish a Q point, and when you would be apply input voltage of any amplitude, this is one of the example here, sinusoidal signal. So in this Q point, when you apply a time varying input voltage, you would be get a symmetrical swing at the output terminal, and you would be obtain a amplified version of output voltage. This is the amplified version of output voltage. But here we have to be see that as we are using a common source amplifier in our circuitry, so output voltage would be 180 degree out of phase. It is amplified version and symmetrical in a shape with the input signal, but it is 180 degree out of phase. That's why if you have to be seen the Q point, when the input voltage is VIQ, you have apply a time varying small signal, you would be getting a amplified version of that signal. Shape is similar, but the phase is 180 degree. For the positive half cycle, it is a negative half cycle output. For the negative half cycle of input, you are getting a positive half cycle of the output. So, a sinusoidal variation in input voltage produces the sinusoidal variation in output voltage. So, this is very important correlation between the driver and the load, and plot these voltage transfer characteristics. Now, after discussing this point, we would be try to define driver transistor characteristics with the load curve, and that would be helpful us to find out the voltage gain. So this is the next diagram, that is 2.21. It is showing a transistor characteristics. Which transistor characteristic? Driver, that is M0 here, for several value of the gate to source or input voltage Vi. So you can see in this particular driver transistor characteristics, first of all, as we know that the output characteristic is plotted between the current versus voltage. Here our drain current is ID, which is also equal to I0 as per the circuit configuration, and output voltage is V0, that is equivalent to the VDS0. Okay. Now, if you have to be see, here input voltage is Vi, so we have taken different values of Vi, that is started from Vi1 up to Vi2. In between there are several values of Vi1 has taken, like VIL, VIQ, VIH, and for different value of input voltage you are getting different value of ID. That's why your curve is different curves has will be plotted to the corresponding value of input voltage. So as you increases the input voltage, as per the characteristics of the MOSFET, your drain current is increasing. That's why the curve is shifted upward. So for suppose out of this range of input voltage, Vi1 is minimum, so your ID1 would be smaller. As you increase Vi up to VIL, then your current would be little bit more increased. Third one is VIQ, when your current would be more increased. Then VIH, little bit more increase, and curve would be shifted upward. Finally, the maximum value of input voltage Vi2, when your ID is maximum. Now we would be superimpose this load curve. So this is shown in the pink line. This is nothing but a load curve, and it is due to the transistor M2. So the load curve is essentially ID versus VSD. Here the source to drain voltage, because it is a PMOS. Characteristics of this active load M2, and by keeping VSG constant, that's why we have taken only one VSG. There is not multiple curve, only one curve, and this curve is also corresponding to the Q point. So this curve is plotted for Q VIQ. Okay. Now, if you have to be see here, there is a point where load curve and transistor characteristics would be intersect to each other, and this is defined as a Q point. and we would only take the case when Vi is equal to VIQ. Okay, because here we are getting maximum symmetrical swing. So here you can see easily input voltage we have applied, and we are getting an amplified version of output voltage, which is 180 degree out of phase, corresponding to this Q point. Now, if you have to be see, the Q point shown here correspond to the quiescent point input current VIQ, and we see that as the input changes from VIL to VIH, the Q point would be moved upward and downward. For VIL, it is here below than VIQ point, and for VIH, it is above than VIQ point. Means what? As you increase the Vi above than VIQ, means VIH or VI2, your Q point would be shifted upward, and it is shifting from the saturation region to the non-saturation. When you apply VI2, it would be enter into the non-saturation region. Similarly, means at VI2, your driver transistor would be enter into non-saturation region. Load is still in the saturation region. But if you would be decrease the input voltage, means VIL, it would be Q point is moving downward, and when it would be decrease more, VI1, then your transistor characteristics is in the saturation region, but load would be enter into a non-saturation region. So this would be the changes would be occur as per the variation of the input voltage. For acting as a small signal amplifier, this is the best suitable region, VIQ, when we have to be get the maximum symmetrical swing. So for this particular Q point, we would be calculate the voltage gain. Okay. So voltage gain of MOSFET active load circuit. So a small signal voltage gain of the MOSFET circuit with an active load is also the slope of voltage transfer function curve at Q point. And taking the derivative of the equation 3 with respect to Vi, we would be obtain a voltage gain equation. So which transfer curve I am discussing? See here. That was the transfer curve, and we have to take the slope of this. Then we would be take a derivative of dV0 upon dVi, and it would be give you the voltage gain. And we have to be take the derivative of V0 equation here. That would be give you the voltage gain. Okay. Attendance. Okay. Now start. It would be active for the 10 minutes. So we have to be take the derivative of this V0, means equation number 3, with respect to the Vi. So what would be the result? This is constant. First term is constant, so it would be 0. Second term, there is a Vi term is there. So Kn upon I reference into lambda n plus lambda p, it is constant term. Variable is this Vi minus Vtn whole square. So as per the derivative of dx square upon dx, 2x. So here what would be the answer? Twice of Kn into Vi minus Vtn upon I reference into lambda n plus lambda p. So this is your dV0 upon dVi, you can see, and that is your voltage gain. Okay. So note down this equation, equation number 4. That would be nothing but your voltage gain equation dV naught upon dVi, that is minus twice of Kn Vi minus Vtn upon I reference into lambda n plus lambda p. Now, from the equation 4, you can see here the transconductance of the driver transistor is what? Means M naught. I am talking about the driver transistor here is M naught. So transconductance equation, we know that Gm is equal to twice of Kn, it is the NMOS, Vi minus Vtn. So what is the significance of this transconductance? So we can substitute this transconductance term in the equation number 4. So your voltage gain equation would be become what? Minus Gm upon I reference into lambda n into lambda p. You can see it. Since M1 and M2 are assumed to be identical, I naught is equal to I reference as per the current mirror phenomena. The small signal transistor resistance is R on is equal to On means what? For NMOS transistors. It is actually R naught. 1 upon lambda n I reference, because I naught is equal to I reference according to current mirror. We have defined this formula when we have discussed in the first unit, finite output resistance. In the finite output resistance, we have defined the formula of output resistance, that is R naught is equal to 1 upon lambda ID. So here ID is what? I reference. In the similar fashion, for load transistor, R naught P, because it is a PMOS. So 1 upon lambda P I reference. So can we write or draw this equivalent circuit? So if you have to see this equivalent circuit of the MOSFET active load circuitry, up to this region, this is the equivalent circuit of M naught. Okay, this is M naught, means driver transistor. Current source, this is VGS, or that is equivalent to the VI. This is the R naught for NMOS. And for the whole current mirror load, the output resistance would be ROP. So that is parallel. That is because of M2. Okay. So this is a small signal equivalent circuit of what? This current mirror load based MOSFET circuit. So for M naught, we have constant current source and R on, and for load there is a ROP. Okay. So here, on the basis of this equation, you can define the voltage gain formula finally. So that is from equation number 4, AV is equal to minus Gm upon 1 upon R naught plus 1 upon ROP. So you can see here, it is a parallel combination of both the resistors. So you can also write it as minus Gm R on parallel ROP. So in general, transconductance Gm of MOSFET is less than that of BJT. But we have to be discussed this equation. This circuit could be also possible with the help of to draw BJT and with the help of MOSFET. We have discussed here MOSFET based circuit of current mirror. So we know that transconductance of MOSFET is always less than the BJT. Means what? The voltage gain of MOSFET amplifier with active load is less than that of BJT amplifier with active load. However, the active load still produces a significant increase in the voltage gain. Okay. So this is the discussion for the MOSFET active load. So we have discussed current mirror circuit, the relationship between the output and reference current. We have discussed the factors on which your output and input current relationship would be depend, and we have also discussed the MOSFET based active load circuitry, and we have find out or defined the voltage gain for the same circuit. I hope all of you have understand this. It is little bit complex as per the regular circuits, but easier to understand if you would be do the practice whatever I have taught you. So after lecture you have to be just practice the drawing of the circuit and the equation I have told you, that you would be, your concept would be more clear. Okay, or you can rewatch my video also. From the next lecture I am just stopping here, because from the next lecture we are going to discuss some other topics, that is types of amplifier and feedback amplifier. Now from this point your second would be shift from active load to the feedback amplifier, and where we have to be discuss the negative feedback and positive feedback as well as the oscillator circuits. Okay, so up to this point I would be here to end the lecture. If anyone has any query, you can ask me. I have the 1 minute for discussion. Any query or any question you want to ask, the topic we have learned today or day before today, whatever, you can ask me. Anyone has any query, please? Okay. Thank you all of you for attending the lecture. We will meet for the next lecture.